The Phillies stopped the bleeding. Thank you. Thank you. I was losing my mind. I truly did need this win this afternoon for my sanity, for my health. And they delivered. Jesus Luzardo bounced back, and we'll get in to all of what went down on the field against the Chicago Cubs. But I was listening to Ken Rosenthal on his Foul Territory show, and he said a few things that really made my eyebrows raise a bit. Thinking about the future of this team this year, the back end of the season, the push after the deadline, leading up to the deadline. When I try and study who the Philadelphia Phillies are in 2025, there's so many questions. And Ken Rosenthal laid some stuff out. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about this team.
They need Bryce Harper healthy. That's for starters. But what you're asking, Eric, is beyond that. Because with Bryce Harper healthy, they were not necessarily gangbusters either. Left field has been an issue for them. Center field's been an issue for them from an offensive standpoint. They're going to need bullpen help, obviously. Even with Alvarado coming back, he won't be eligible for the playoffs. They know that. That's going to be an area of focus. If you remember going back to the offseason, they talked about maybe changing up the mix a little bit, doing something different, just to jolt the team. And that's where the trade talks involving Alec Bohm came from. They never got that done for whatever reason. And it still seems that maybe this team, which is largely set, could use something from the outside that would elevate it. I don't know who that player is, but sometimes a deadline edition can have that galvanizing kind of force. And if they could go out and get the right left fielder, the right center fielder, that seems to me to be the kind of play that they should make.
Okay, so that final phrase about a player who can galvanize a team, that hit home because, as he alluded to, they attempted to do that this offseason by moving Bohm, and they didn't, whether they didn't like the package that was offered to them, whether there wasn't that many packages even offered to them. For whatever reason, they weren't able to actually execute. But it makes me wonder about who they are now when you see them as such a flawed group. Is that even worth it to try and do at the deadline? To get something that will be that significant, meaning you would then have to part ways with some assets, with some of your ammo. And is that really the best way to maximize what you do have in the holster? Now, I'm not a prospect hugger at all, because as I'm witnessing now, Alec Bohm was once a prospect that we deemed the future. We wanted his ass out of town last year, and so did Dave. Bryson Stott was once deemed the future. Can't hit. We love him. We love his work ethic. We love his attitude. We like Bryson Stott. Can't hit. So when you look at the track record of prospects here in town, they normally don't pan out. But you still got to maximize when you do go in to make a specific move. And they missed their chance. That probably should have been done last year. Should have been done the year before that. Could have been done even the year before that. But now, I almost think it's too late. If you didn't do it in the offseason, if you couldn't move them then, now's the time to push your chips in? Now? With this team? To go after someone who can galvanize this team? That's a big name. It's not some nobody, some little ho-hum move that galvanizes a team. When I hear that word, it means a real splash, a real addition. But that means you're giving up a ton for it, because no one's just going to hand that over to you on a silver platter and say, here you go, Phillies, have a nice run. Good luck. We're rooting for you. And I just don't know if the time right now makes sense, because I really don't have faith in this team. You heard it from Ken. You still got to figure out if Bryce Harper can be healthy. You still need bullpen additions. So you need all that, which is going to take assets for bullpen additions, and, quote, someone to galvanize your team. And you got to have a healthy Bryce Harper. And you need to have a Nick Castellanos that can actually hit homers. And you need an Alec Boehm that can actually give you something serious. I know we did in this final game against Chicago, but I'm talking a sustainable style of attacking at the plate and not just singles. 215-592-9494. That is the phone number to participate. Is it really a team that you think it makes a lot of sense to push your chips in with? I'd be disappointed because they missed the real time to do it. And then if they were to do it, it's almost as if, what the hell? We got to try and salvage this thing somehow. It's our last crack at it, so let's just see what happens. That's nasty work. That's dirty work. I can't get behind this team. Now, I watch every night and I root for them and I pull for them. But until I see the people who are here are worth investing in, it's hard for me to think of a massive splash. It's hard for me to think that it makes a lot of sense to swing big as if this is the group to double down with. And I'm not even a big, we got to keep all of our prospects type of guy. That's really anti-me. I'm never in that corner. But that shows you how much I don't have faith in this crew. There's two ways to look at it. You can go, well, as is, Brodes. You're just banging your head against the wall because this version of the team isn't capable. So what the hell? Isn't it worth a shot? But you can't be stupid. That's the flip side of it. You can't be dumb. You can't be desperate. There's a difference between going out and throwing a haymaker in the right spot. It's like a boxer. Well, maybe I can use that analogy music. Let's try that for the first time. I threw in some music bed for my dumb analogies. We like to call that analogizing here on the program. We could play that puppy. All right, here we go. Attempt number 1 at this thing. Let's see how it goes. That's nice.
Real smooth.
It is smooth. Just like this analogy. As we analogize. It's like a boxer. All right? You're in the middle of the ring. Got on your puffy pants. Says Brodes on the back. Got red gloves taped up. I'm protecting my chin. Throwing a few jabs. It's got to be a calculated risk when you throw the heavy daddy. You know what I'm saying? When you reach over the top and you just lay one out, it's got to be calculated. You got to set it up properly. You can't just do it just because you want to. And if you do it out of desperation, you might catch one on the chin. Can't catch one on the chin. You don't want to be the boxer that miscalculates the uppercut. What do you think?
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
It's getting lost in the music,
Yeah,
too.
listen.
A little back and forth.
I'm working on things.
All made sense. It was pretty good.
Thank you. All right. we can pot it down. I'm working on the analogy.
I know. I kind of want to skip the music.
Yeah, I know. It did sound pretty good, huh?
Pretty good,
did
though.
Sound pretty good. All right, 215-592-9494. Do you think it's worth pushing the chips in for this team? Do you really think this group has that feeling that they can make it happen and all they need is a monster addition and it's worth pouring assets into? As Ken Rosenthal mentioned, a galvanizing potential move that could change things. I don't know. I'm so blah on this group. It's hard for me to even visualize it. It's hard for me to even want to do it. It is. It's hard for me to even want to buy into it. Ay, ay, ay. And it stings to say that. Let's go to John in Pottstown. What's up, John?
Hunter.
Yes.
Come on.
What?
Come on. A MLB season is like a Russian novel. Hot, cold, hot, cold. This is an infuriating team to watch. But isn't that part of the fun? You know?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
I don't want to go all in. I don't want to go all in. What guarantee is there that you're going to have the best starting pitching in the league next year?
Well, I don't even know if they have the best starting pitching now.
Zach Wheeler has been the best starting pitcher
I
in
love
the National
Wheeler.
League for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But how old is he now? 34, 35 years old? You got to go all in now. This pitching keeps you in every game.
Not really,
against
though.
Everybody. Yeah, it
Not
does.
really. It is good, but they are, to your point, with as good as they are, there's something so fundamentally flawed that even their good starting pitching, it's not enough because their offense is too inconsistent and their bullpen sucks. So even though they have great starting pitching, you cannot survive with this lineup and this bullpen. And even if they do go all in and make some moves, they need so much that they can't actually get everything they need at this deadline. So I don't know what to do with that.
You know what's funny? If they, win 75-80% of their games over the next 3 weeks, would you be shocked at that?
Yes.
Absolutely shocked?
Yes.
I wouldn't, because this team surprises the hell out of me a lot of the time. Sometimes they beat the heck out of the really bad competition. Then they go 2-3 against the Cubs. I mean, they're doing all this without Bryce Harper. But they were.
What do you mean by that? Doing all this because he was here for majority of it.
They're keeping their record what it is and respectable in the entire league without Bryce Harper, with no timetable of when he's going to return, which is exactly what competitive teams need to do.
But he was here for everything except for essentially like the last 6 games.
Yeah.
And I don't know, based off of everything that we heard about this going into last year and then him having the whole offseason, and now as soon as this year begins, the wrist is hurting again. I don't think we're ever getting a healthy Bryce Harper this year. I think what they're going to tell us is he has to manage the pain until the offseason. So at that point, if we just get the Bryce Harper we've gotten all year long, which is a fine Bryce Harper, but it's not a superstar Bryce Harper, that also impacts the ceiling of this group.
I don't know. I've been watching baseball a long time, and to me, when you have starting pitching like this, like when you have a performance like that kid did today, and those kinds of things are possible from the third, fourth, if you go, even if you went down to a 5-man rotation, whatever, you got to just go all in on a season like that. That's not a rebuild kind of situation, But
they're close to having to rebuild massively. You don't think?
After this year, perhaps.
But so if you have to after this year, then wouldn't you want what's here in the system to be a part of that? And if you get rid of it, now where does your restart happen? Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not a full-on monster resell everything kind of thing, but you do have to rebrand. And I feel part of the rebrand may be here, and is that worth going all in for with this team? I don't know.
A lot of these things are going to take care of themselves because a lot of these contracts are not going to be here next year, regardless of any maneuvering they do.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of money that's coming off the books.
Unless they re-sign Kyle.
Unless they re-sign Kyle.
And JT.
Yeah.
And then we're running it back again with an older version of the team that couldn't get it done the last 4 years.
Well, I don't think they're going to re-sign JT.
You don't? Who's going to play catcher?
No. I don't know. I just can't imagine them re-signing JT.
I think they would if it was the right number. And I wouldn't be against it if it was sort of a, hey, you bat 8th and you're just a defensive guy and we're not worried about the offensive number. The problem is Dave Dombrowski miscalculated his bat and now he's batting 5th, thinking that he's actually a right-handed bat to perform. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Now, John, thank you so much. I appreciate the optimism. I just can't buy it. But that last part of the phone call is sort of my perfect example of why I don't know if now is the year to go all in, because I thought the years were in the past. 2, 3, 1 year ago, that window prior to this year was when you should have put your foot on the gas. But if next year you look at this core and realize we can't run it back with an older version, we already know they're not capable, everybody's putting more wear and tear on their body, we do need a rebrand. They tried to rebrand in the offseason by getting rid of Bohm to give this team a facelift. They couldn't execute that, so it's in their crosshairs of things to do. It's on their to-do list. So if it's on their to-do list, why use assets that may be a part of that? Justin Crawford, all these young kids everyone keeps talking about, Mick Abel maybe even. Why utilize them if next year is a big rebrand year? If they could be a part of the rebrand. Because if they're not, and you do trade, and you don't succeed because this team is too flawed and they need to fix way too many holes at one deadline, and you still need to rebrand, now where are you going? Now where are you plucking from? You just don't have the options. And I guess if you let Kyle walk, if you let JT go, there's money that opens up. I'd try to move Nick Castellanos' deal. Maybe they do have something like that that could change the personality of the group a little bit. I'm always willing to go out with a bang. You know, I'd rather attempt than be soft. But I do think this is a different circumstance. They need so much. They need a healthy Bryce, number one. Don't think they're getting that. They need guys who are already here to be a way better version of themselves. I need power from Nick. Nick's got 6 home runs, maybe? 7? That stinks. Stinks. JT's not an explosive bat anymore. Boom. He had a good day today, but is that what he is now? Or is it just a good day? Because 2 days ago, he's hitting into 5 billion double plays, ground balls.
He's a week-by-week player.
Well, that's not good enough.
No, it's not, but it's what he is.
Well, Luke, let me ask you this. And 215-592-9494. You heard the first 25 minutes. You know where I stand with this whole thing. Galvanizing player, deadline. Is this team worth it to put up the pieces in your organization to make one last crack at it with this group?
I think it is, because you have the starting rotation. You have this, yeah, I get it, you have a top-heavy lineup. But if you kind of go all in at the deadline, add a couple of bullpen arms, and maybe, just maybe, you get a real center fielder or another piece in that lineup, this could be a real contending team. And I get it. It's tough to sell. It's tough to sell to me, Dombrowski's ideology of we just got to get hot at the right time. It's a tough sell, because there's no basis to it. It's basically just like, oh, you just got to believe in the vibes of the team. They just have to wake up on the right side of the bed that morning. That's essentially what it is, and I don't entirely agree with that. But if you have Trey Turner, if Trey Turner hits like this in the playoffs, and you get the Kyle Schwarber that we've had this season, you get Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos isn't just swinging at everything.
Yeah, see, hear the ifs? These are 4 ifs, and you were going to probably name another 5 ifs.
But I'm hedging on, it could be bad, but we've seen how bad it is, but we've also seen how good it is, and that really is the hope. I have confidence that the rotation is going to be good. And again, if you do kind of half blow it up and try to reset next year, when are you going to get a better chance or a better team? You can't really just reset with some of these players because they're just aging. Does Bryce Harper want to go through another multi-year rebuild? He's 31 by now?
I can't be making decisions off of what Bryce Harper wants. We're in this problem because of what Bryce Harper wants. Re-signing JT, and here's Trey Turner's money. I'm in the predicament I'm in because of Bryce Harper.
I think, fair. But he's that good of a player that it's like you were going to listen to him and you were going to cater to him. He won an MVP. And he's been a phenomenal player. He's been one of the best athletes in this city since he's been here. So you're going to listen to him. And I don't think starting a new timeline that doesn't exactly fit his is the right idea, because then you're going to have to look to move him eventually.
Then let me ask you this. I disagree with that, but let me ask you this. If they fail this year, okay, NLDS well, either they lose in the NLDS or they lose in a wild card round. Okay?
Yeah.
Either one of those two options. Bryce is still going to be here. They running it back again? Because you're making it seem as if no matter what the outcome is this year, they must run it back with this group to satisfy Bryce, even if they fail again this year and take even a less step back from where they were last year again. If it's wild card, that's another step back.
No, I don't think it's going to be an exact, run it back, like bring Schwarber back, bring Real Muto back, bring whoever else it is. I just think they're not going to completely destroy the team. Like, they're not going to be like, all right, Schwarber, bye. All right, JT, bye. All right, let's look to trade Castellanos. All right, let's look to,
you don't think so?
Trade Wheeler and
not
Wheels, Nola and
but
stuff like that.
Those three that you mentioned. Let Kyle walk, let JT go, and trade Nick for a facelift. Not because Kyle's not good. I love Kyle, but if you're just not getting it done with this chemistry, you must do something. And because you're handcuffed with some of these other contracts, those three right there, what you just laid out is what I'm going to be calling for. Exactly to a T. Not because I don't love Kyle, but that's how you have to do it.
No, I agree there. Where if they flop again in the postseason, then you have to trade. You have to just move off of some of these guys, whether you like it or not. That includes Schwarber. That includes those guys we just mentioned, Bohm, Stott, whatever. But I'm saying you should still buy in at the deadline because I just don't know when your rotation is going to be better than it is right now because you're going to lose Ranger in the offseason as well. Because, again, I'm with you where I'm not the biggest prospect hugger in the world. I'm fine with dealing some guys, but, man, looking back at some of the Phillies prospects, they are rough.
No, of course.
They are
I know they are. And
rough.
Bohm and Stott are a part of that. And it's I'd be fine if he goes and makes the moves of the Estevezes of the world where he's not giving up much. Mm-hmm. But in this case, Ken Rosenthal mentions that they were looking to galvanize the team. That seems more significant to me than...
I'm fine with that. Like, I want to do a significant move because it just... We haven't had that.
They're not worth it.
We haven't had that. They haven't done a significant move.
But that would be...
That's been Dombrowski's MO his entire career.
That would be a Crawford then.
That's fine.
Okay, you're giving up Justin Crawford this year for this team.
Yes.
Ugh. And I normally would agree with you because I'm not a prospect guy. Not this team. He's worthy of playing now. He's worthy of playing now. They're just not putting him out there. So he should be in the majors now. It's not a prospect that's 3 years from now that we're talking about. We're talking about a guy who could be playing right now. So, I don't know. It's fascinating. I normally side with you 99 out of 100 times. This happens to be the one time that I will not believe in this group that it's worth buying into. I can't. I just do not believe this is winning baseball. They have the starting pitching staff. To win a World Series, you need so much more offensive consistency. You need way smarter of a group on the base paths. You need way better defense, and you need a way better bullpen. You can't get what you need to win a championship at the deadline. It was a miscalculation by Dave Dombrowski in the offseason that led to him needing to do 50,000 things at the deadline, and now he can't fill all the holes at the deadline because he had the wrong offseason. And that's what set him up here to fail. Dave's previous mistakes had a snowball effect to the deadline, and now, unfortunately for me, I don't think it's worth a galvanizing piece. And it's stunning. I'm stunning myself here. 215-592-9494. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Eric in Fox Chase. What's up, Eric?
Yo, what's up, my man?
What's happening?
Chilling. I don't know. It's like crazy to think that last year, everybody was going nuts for Luis Robert, and if they would have pulled the deal on that guy, what a mess that would be if he had the same numbers he has going on now. Say they would have traded like Painter for him or something.
It's a good point. You're right. And I was one of those people that in previous years, I wanted them to be more of a splashier team at the deadline. And I like the idea of doing that. I believe in it when it's the right time. I just think they missed the time to do it. That's all.
Is it me, or does it just seem like that there's not as much guys as there used to be at the deadline?
That makes sense. It's because they expanded the playoffs, so more teams get in, and when more teams get in, they're less likely to sell. So, yeah, that's a big part of it.
But, like for instance, like, Luis Roberts, dude, like, I wouldn't give them I'd give them, you know who I'd give them Rojas and, like, a low-level minor league player, but that's it. He ain't worth anything. What's he worth?
No, nothing now.
He had one good year. It's like our guys, like Stott and Boone, basically had one good year. Like they're not worth much on the trade market, you know.
Yeah, look, if Bohm's not worth anything on the trade market, then the guys that you're talking about and Robert at this point of his career, they're worth pennies.
So I mean, I'm kind of in like agreement with you. Like, I just don't see, like, completely buying in and, like, say we make the wild card and lose in the first or second round again, and now we just gave up, like, say, Abel or whoever it is, and Crawford, and that now you're another year older. So they're in a weird, like, crazy spot right now. And it's going to be tough to maneuver.
You know what's going to sting? This is what's going to sting, Eric. They're going to do what they should have done in the last few years. They're going to do it this year when it's the wrong time to do it. So they should have went after something massive and done something galvanizing and made a big splash in the previous postseason runs where they just got marginally better. And the year that they should probably just add a little something here just to see and get marginally better at the deadline, they're going to do something stupid like pour their assets on the table and ruin everything. That's what they're going to do. They're going to screw this up.
They like, I really wanted Bregman. I mean, I know he was a free agent for a long time. He was sitting out there. I mean, I know he got hurt or whatever, but he was tearing the cover off the ball. We really, really need a right-handed power hitter. I mean, that's like whether it comes from center field or left field.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? You're right. What is Nick Castellanos supposed to be?
I mean, 4 or 5 home runs and he caught it, dude, from a corner
It's
outfield
nuts.
spot.
That's why you paid him, though. That's a miscalculation. We're sitting here begging for a right-handed power bat.
I mean,
and they signed Nick.
I'd rather have Reese Hoskins hitting 4th or 5th and Harper and Wright. I mean, to be quite honest.
Sure, but why would Milwaukee do that now?
Well, they're not going to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, in theory.
In hindsight, or, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, Hoskins is a better overall hitter than Castellanos is. He's more patient. He walks more. He definitely hits more home runs at this stage in his career. I don't want to just blast Castellanos. It's not just all his fault. But, I mean, the total blame to me is Dombrowski, to be honest with you. He just didn't put enough good players on the field for us to, you know, compete this year. And Max Kepler's not cutting it.
No,
sorry.
No, not at all. Eric, it's going to get to the point. Thank you so much, man. Love hearing from you. And I already know. I'm not sugarcoating it. We'll be talking about this in a couple of months. I'm going to be calling for his job when the season ends. I don't want him anywhere near this baseball team moving forward after the season's over. Don't want it. I will be calling for Dave Dombrowski's job in a couple of months when the season ends, when they inevitably fail due to all of the issues that he put on this team and all of the miscalculations. You say you'd rather have Reese? Pete Alonso was out there. Pete Alonso was out there, and there were actual reports that the Phillies, hey, Pete, what are you thinking? You got to execute. That's something that can galvanize the team. That's a big hit, a big, big splash that can change the identity of the baseball team. They didn't change the identity of the baseball team. They kept it the same and got the bullpen worse. Bullpen was good last year. Now, in the playoffs, it got shaky, and that probably still would have scared me. But they got significantly worse last year. Same team, added Luzardo, got way worse in the bullpen. Dave had plenty of time to win me over. He's just not the guy we thought he was. I don't think he's a killer. I think he's chilling with his championships. He got his championships. Some guys get hungrier. Some guys get satisfied. Dave looks to be satisfied to me. I'm not satisfied at all. Let's go to Audrey in South Philly. Yo, Audrey.
Hey, I can't agree with you more. And I was telling the same thing to Luke. I was talking to him with what you were talking about because it took me a little bit to call in because I wanted to really think about it before I called in. And they need four players. They don't only they need a lot. I mean, one, you need your guys to step up. You need your Castellases. You need your Bohms. You need your Stats. You need them to step up. And you still got to bring guys in because these guys can't perform. You got the bullpen that sucks. I mean, God. And you got Harper. He could come back for 10 days and be gone for another month. Look at Nola. Nola's another one. He could be back in 4 weeks, start a feud, out, done. You don't know. I wouldn't mortgage nothing. I'm the same way. Prospects are just that, but he whiffed. He let guys sit out there.
Yeah, the Bryce thing, Audrey, that scares me like no other because if you date back to last year and it was hurting him and then the offseason came and then as soon as this year began, it started to hurt him again and they think 10-day IL trips is going to fix it. This is what's going to happen. We're going to get hit with the report that he's just going to have to manage the pain. And if that's the case, then we're not good enough.
We're not good enough. And if they make the playoffs with this team, call that a bonus. Just bonus baseball. Let's just call it that if they even make it.
I'm not there yet, and I'm not telling you you're crazy to make that statement because I know some are speculating it. I'm just not there yet, but I'm down on this team, Audrey.
Yeah, me too. Me too, Brodes. Me too.
Oh, it's so painful to think about, Audrey. Thank you so much for the call. I'm not there yet to bring up no playoffs. Although, with San Francisco on this heater, they're now in first place in the NL West, which means a wild card spot is going to the Dodgers. Plenty of baseball left, but you know one of the wild card spots is coming from that division. It's just not a lock they make the playoffs. That's all. I think they will. Their starting pitching is good enough to carry them through regular season games. And their offense, it's up and down, but over 162, it'll be up enough. The question is, when you get into the playoffs and you face better teams, better pitching, better opponents, are you going to be able to be red-hot elite offense that you need to be? And the answer is no. No. It's the team that got no hit. It's the team that lost to the Diamondbacks. It's the team that got embarrassed by the New York Mets. Why would I expect anything different? So I'm not there yet. There's just so much baseball, and I think they will slide in for as down as I am on this team. But you could slide into the playoffs and still not be worth going a full head of steam trying to make acquisitions at the deadline. And again, it makes me sick to say that because I prefer taking some risks. But you got to do it when it makes the most sense. And they miss that. And just because this is the last go-around with this group, I'm not going to be silly and have a knee-jerk reaction and start throwing crap at the wall to hope and pray that we can salvage this thing. You can't. You can't. You can't. When you wanted to salvage it, you should have looked at the offseason because that's when you had to really assess the salvaging. All right, what do we do now? This is where we're at. This team needs a facelift. You put out the Bohm stuff. You got Luzardo. You had a chance to get something in the outfield. You decided to run back Rojas, you decided to run back Marsh. You bring in Kepler. That was your opportunity to get the galvanizing pieces. Now, you have to reshape your entire bullpen, get the galvanizing pieces, and then everyone who's been stinking up the joint all have to perform at an elite clip again, or their respected great clip. I mean, does Bohm have the same amount of home runs as Nick? Ooh, if that's the case, that's disgusting. We're sitting here banging on the table screaming that we need a right-handed power bat. That's Nick! That's Nick! Bohm has 5, Nick has 6. It's a disgrace. A flat-out disgrace. We're screaming we need a right-handed power bat. What? What? Come on, man. Let's go to Casimir in the Poconos. What's up, Casimir?
What's going on there, Brody? How you doing?
What's happening, man?
So I'm not going to be as animated, first of all, man. I'm sorry if I got too animated. I apologize.
No, I loved it. Casimir, for anyone who doesn't know, had a nice viral moment on social media calling into some Brodes media pods after the games this week. I love the passion, Casimir. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I can't do it. But you know what? I think it's about over because the reason why Brodes, I'm with you, man. Like, I don't care if they won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. It's like when, like you said, like when you smell something, it's like the old adage, you know, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, chances are it's probably a duck. And the issue that I see with this team is, like you said, it's like they don't just need 1 or 2 bullpen arms, Bros. They need 3 or 4 bullpen arms. Like, this whole bullpen needs to be revamped. Like, the entire bullpen needs to be remade. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing that all in one deadline. They need 2 outfielders. They need a left fielder and they need a center fielder. You're not going to be able to get that all in one deadline. They need someone to bring in for defense, probably in right field that can fill in for Nick Castellanos later.
That's
innings,
probably
that guy
15th on their list of things. But yeah, I mean, they need they need everything.
Yeah, but it's like they need everything. It's like you know, it's almost like a football team, right? And it's like, you know, and they say, okay, what do they need on defense? And it's like, well, they actually need defensive tackle, they need defensive end, they need a linebacker, they need a corner. Actually, they need 2 corners, they need a safety. And they also need a nickel as well. So it's like, you're not getting that all in one draft. Like, unless you have like 10 draft picks, you're not getting that all in one draft. It's like the Phillies with this deadline. It's like, it's even if they wanted to sell off their pieces, they're not going to be able to sell off all those pieces to get all what they need to get in order to make this team a competitor to win a World Series. It's not going to happen. Like, for all the Phillies fans who want to stay positive and get with this team, like, I don't know what you're looking at. I really don't know what you're watching because it's clear as day this team's not good enough. They're getting older. They're past their primes. And Stott and Bohm, they just – and listen, yeah, I get Bohm in a great game today. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Broken clocks right twice a day. But it's like those guys aren't good enough. We thought they were, but they're not. You know, they're good pieces to have on a team. They're complementary pieces. They're not bad players, but they're just, you know, they're not cornerstones like you thought they were.
I agree.
You know, Nola's past his prime, and it's like, I'm sorry, but it's like, I'm not saying we have to sell off guys, but it's not the year, bro. It's like, I'm with you. Like, I'd be willing to sell prospects if it was 2023 or 2024 last year, but this year is just not the year. But I have a feeling that Dombrowski, like you said,
he's going to do it backwards. He's going to do it ass backwards, dude.
Yeah,
he really is.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's a shame.
For the next 5 years. Next 6-7 years, I have nothing to watch.
Well, that's not true because we'll be watching Justin Crawford and Trey Turner at age 39 boot ground balls at shortstop, and you know,
you're watching Bryce Harper at 38 years old playing first base.
That's right. That's right, baby. Get excited, Casimir. Thank you so much for the call. Get excited.